Now, it doesn't happen very often, but can Georgia repeat as champions once again during the 2022 season? It would be the 2023 National Championship. We saw them finally get over the hump and win just a few weeks ago. But it's time to talk about the future, right? It's great to celebrate, but Kirby Smart's moved on from the win. A lot of people have moved on. Nick Saban has moved on. It's happened. It's in the past. Georgia ended a long drought. Can they do it again next season? I think they have a really good chance. Before that, click the link below to buy Dogstruction, our commemorative book done by Dog Post and Dean Legge. So you're going to want to see that for Georgia's national championship season. You're not going to want to miss it. The book is really cool. And be sure you go to the site, dogpost.com. Ryan Curley here. What are the odds Georgia wins the championship again and repeats? Something that really doesn't happen in college football. According to Vegas insiders, Georgia has this was as of a few weeks ago. Georgia has the second best odds behind Alabama at plus 300. Alabama's at plus 200 to win the national championship. Right behind them, Ohio State, Clemson, USC, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. I don't know if I agree with some of this stuff. Just looking at it, I mean, I get Alabama, and if I had to pick right now who's going to win the national championship, and obviously it's way too early, and my opinion is going to change probably several times, but just off of the way this past season happened and the way it's looking for next season, I'd probably put my money on the Alabama Crimson Tide to win the national championship this coming year. It just makes sense to me. I think they're returning two of the best players in Bryce Young and Will Anderson Jr., one of the best offensive players and one of the best defensive players in college football. I think that's huge. I think they'll have vengeance. Of course, they have Nick Saban, the greatest college football coach of all time. It makes sense. I know that Georgia fans don't like to hear that, but I think that there's definitely some Georgia fans that agree with me. Now, I do think Georgia has an opportunity to do it again. I don't think that's crazy. And I think that can be done behind Stetson Bennett in your offense. I really do. He all the doubters can't really say anything now because they won while he was the starting quarterback, and he did play well in the national championship. A couple plays don't really define him playing poorly. He made a couple mistakes, but he also made some really great plays in the national championship and throughout the entire season. So, it took me longer than some people to get behind Stetson Bennett being the starter, but I am behind that. And if you're not, I mean, they won the national championship. And if he doesn't play well this year, Georgia does have capable backups, so there's no reason to freak out about him being the starter because he is a national championship winning quarterback. But it's way beyond that. I mean, Georgia's returning a lot of talent, and they are going to churn it out with guys they're going to replace. I mean, if you're just looking at the defense, who's losing? Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Channing Tindall, Trayvon Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Lewis Cine. I'm missing people. Darian Kendrick, because there's a lot that they're losing. You're replacing it with guys who have played and who are probably going to be ready to play. I mean, Jalen Carter, Zion Logue, Tremont Walthour, Nazir Stackhouse, those guys on the defensive line, they're ready and they're really good. You move over to pass rushers. Nolan Smith's returning, the former number one recruit in the country. You got MJ Sherman, Robert Beal, Chaz Chambliss. You got the guys, you got the freshmen coming in. Inside linebacker, Jamon Dumas Johnson, who I've heard is going to play really well this coming season. That's a prediction from people within the program. You got Smile Mondon, Xavier Swart. You have the guys. I mean, I don't even have to go. The defensive back class that Georgia signed is impressive, so they're going to plug and play. They just need to be ready. It's about that. And on offense, you're going to have a great offensive line returning. You're going to have a few starters. You got 5 stars who are just going to fill in. Broderick Jones, Amarius Mims, guys like that. Tate Ratledge, Cedric Van Prandt. You got the guys. You got all the talent. You've got a good running back room, even though you lost 2 leaders there. And you have talented receivers. And you have Brock Bowers. So if you're just looking from a roster standpoint, I don't know if the roster's it's not going to be better than last year because this past season's defense was completely impressive. So I don't think it'll be better, but it's not going to be bad by any means. And I think the offense can put up 30-something points again. I think it's very possible. They almost put up 40, or maybe they did. It was 41 at one point. So the odds behind Alabama for second, I'm totally cool with that. If I'm looking at this from a Georgia standpoint, I mean, I like Georgia's odds better than Clemson's, better than USC's, Michigan's, Oklahoma's, Texas A&M, Florida, Oregon, all these people on that list. It's Alabama and Georgia in college football right now, guys. That's where we're at. Alabama and Georgia are the two juggernauts. Ohio State's right behind them. I don't think Clemson's there anymore. That's the situation we're in. Georgia can repeat. I don't think that's crazy. It can happen. I'm not predicting it to happen yet. But if, maybe a couple games in, we see something or something crazy happens this offseason, there's still transfers to be made. There's still players that could sign. So, Georgia's chances are really, really good. If you look at their schedule, I look at Oregon, I look at Auburn, I look at Florida, South Carolina, all those threats on their schedule this coming season, Mississippi State. I air quote threats because they're just better than all those teams, and they should go 12-0 in the regular season again. I'm predicting that right now. They should go 12-0 in the regular season again. That's the reality. Excellence, elite. Those are the words that are describing this program led by Kirby Smart. That's where we're at, and Georgia should compete for a national championship every single year from now on. Now, they're not going to win it every year, but they could repeat, and you're going to see a real big shift in the tide in recruiting and just trajectory of the next 10 years if Georgia wins another one or two in the next 3 years. That's where we're at. Georgia and Alabama are the cream of the crop. That's where we're at. Dogpost.com.